Small businesses and the internet sales tax. Before we dive into the internet sales tax relating to small businesses, we must look at the simple definition of what a small business really is. A small business is a privately owned and operated business. A small business typically has a small number of employees, and in the United States, the legal definition of a small business is determined by the U.S. Small Business Administration, also known as the SBA, which sets the criteria to be used by the SBA in making small business determinations. When many people think of small businesses, they don't think they're very important to the U.S. economy. However, this is very untrue. In the United States, small businesses employ over half of the country's workforce. Small business in America has been the stabilizing force in the economy. Entrepreneurs are the backbone of creativity and production. Small business is what stimulates economic growth, with over 60% of all private sector's non-farm jobs coming from small business. It is a proven fact that small businesses are critical to the United States economy. Small businesses create 75% of the net new jobs in our economy and present new employment opportunities and serve as the building blocks of the United States' larger corporations. While small businesses may not generate as much money as large corporations that we're more familiar with, they are a critical component of and major contributor to the strength of local economies. Now that we know more about small businesses and how they are important to the U.S. economy, let's talk about a big current issue in the nation, which will have a large impact on small businesses, and that is the internet sales tax. If right now you went to buy a TV at Best Buy for, say, $500, there would be a sales tax of about 7%. So you would essentially pay the $500 plus 7%, which is $535 for your TV. However, if instead of Best Buy you went online and bought the same TV for the same price, you would not have to pay a sales tax on the item. Currently, the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives are working on what they call an internet sales tax. If passed, this would create a tax for everything bought online. Companies like Amazon and eBay are strongly against this proposed internet tax, while local companies and small businesses would most likely gain from it. The bill proposing this internet tax, or how the bill is formally known, the Marketplace Fairness Act, is not just as simple as putting a tax on everything bought on the internet. The bill would allow states to require online retailers to collect sales tax and remit them to the state where the consumer lives. In 2012, there was a total of $225.5 billion of revenue from online sales alone. Using projected numbers for 2013, if a sales tax were on this revenue, it would add an extra $25 billion of revenue each year for states, cities, and counties who could use all the government income they could get to balance their budgets. To talk more about the internet sales tax and how small businesses would be affected by it, I interviewed my father, Tom Meyers, who on a personal level knows a lot about the internet sales tax along with small businesses, and he had a lot of interesting insights to say about it. The first question I asked my dad was just his thoughts on this internet sales tax and what he thinks the effects of it will be in general.
Regarding the potential of taxing internet sales, I think that there's a couple different issues, obviously. The one issue is that right now it can often be cheaper to buy online versus bricks and mortar because the bricks and mortar have to charge tax, whereas the internet companies don't have to charge tax. And somehow that doesn't seem like it's fair. On the other hand, internet is a new way of doing business, and I know that we're trying to promote growth, and so therefore by not taxing it, you're going to have more people involved and more people going to online to buy things. But I think that fairness and equalness between the online companies and the bricks and mortar companies is really the overriding factor, in addition to the fact that many local and state governments are looking for tax revenue. And this is an important area to be able to increase revenues for the state so they can begin to balance their budgets and get back to fiscal health. So I think that it seems reasonable to me that if bricks and mortar are going to have to charge sales tax, then the internet companies should also have to charge sales tax. That seems fair to me, especially in light of the fact that there is such a need to generate revenue by the local and state governments who have been are still trying to balance their budgets. So it seems to be me that it's a fair and reasonable thing to have internet companies charging tax.
The next question I asked my dad was how the internet sales tax would affect small and local businesses.
Relative to how this potential internet tax is going to impact local mom and pop businesses, I think it can, for the local mom and pop bricks and mortars, I think it can be positive because once again, they'll be more competitive. So all of these people who've invested in retail stores that are selling things that are also available on the internet are now going to be more cost competitive because the internet companies are going to also have to charge tax. So I think that's a positive for the small retailers who have bricks and mortar and who've made those investments.
The last question I asked my dad is what he thinks is fair in dealing with this internet sales tax and putting aside personal opinions, what really is the ethical right thing to do and why.
What's legal and by the code of the tax, by the tax code and what is ultimately fair, I guess is could be two different things. But I believe that the sales tax should be collected on internet sales just as on physical sales, or they should be the same. If you don't have sales tax on physical, like clothes or something like that, then it shouldn't be on the internet sales as well. Whatever it is, I believe it should be the same. Why should one entity have an advantage of sales tax just because of the way they're organized?
My dad's answer to his last question I found particularly interesting because it opens up the idea that there are really two options that are ethical. It's not just that there should be internet sales tax or there shouldn't. It's that there should be the tax and the normal sales tax, or there should be neither. So no matter what, they'd be the same. And I think that's what he was talking about, how that's really the fair thing. That's the ethical way. So far, I've spent most of the time talking about the benefits of this proposed internet tax from a retailer's perspective. However, when looking at it from a consumer's perspective, it is almost always negative. This is because all it means for consumers is that they will have to pay more. However, the crucial part is to look at it from more than just its effect on you, the consumer, and instead look at its effects it will have on the economy. Tom Cochran, the CEO and executive director of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, said it best in his article in the Huffington Post entitled "Time to End the Internet's Tax-Free Ride," when he said, quote, "By leveling the playing field, all businesses will be able to compete in a fair and equitable way. Merchants of every stripe will fight for customers by competitively pricing their goods, increasing product variety, and providing better service, all of which benefits American consumers and allows the free market to work the way in which it was intended. In the end, jobs will be created and the economy will be strengthened." I hope everyone has gained new knowledge about small businesses, the new proposed internet tax, and how the internet tax will affect small businesses as well as the overall U.S. economy. When I began researching for this project, I had no opinion whatsoever on this topic. However, that has clearly changed now. I encourage you all to research more into this topic and develop your own opinions.